The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good morning and welcome to Guardian Radio AM. Today is Tuesday, August 18th. It's a little after 11 o'clock in the morning. And once again, this is C.A. Newry, and I shall be your host for the day. The numbers to call today are 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. And of course, if you're calling from the family of islands, the number here is 242-300-5720. And if you desire to use the text line, the text line is 422-GR96. That is 422-4796. That's the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC, and the standard text rate apply. Today is going to be an open line Tuesday. Yep, that means we're going to talk about what you want to talk about. So this is the time you can just start calling in now. Just start calling in now. It's going to be an open line Tuesday where I'm willing to entertain, hash out some ideas of what you have, what is trending in social media, what is trending inside the news. Of course, the Prime Minister's speech addressed to the nation is trending inside the news. I didn't really want to talk about that because I know everybody else is going to be talking about it. And you should see me trying to search for new topics today. I said, man, they could be an open line Tuesday. So if you want to talk about that, you can call. Right, you can call and we can talk about that too. And in terms of, are you convinced that the government has a plan? Are you satisfied with what the Prime Minister said in his address? And what happens next? One of the headlines that tickled me, and I didn't want to be too critical because I appreciate the Prime Minister's address, and we've been asking the Prime Minister and the Minister to address us in general and talk about what is happening at BPL. What is the big plan? What despite all of the blackouts and load shedding, tell us what is the agenda and perhaps give us a timeline, and then we can support your efforts. And I think the Prime Minister's address was his attempt in answering our call for that. So I'm going to say thank you, right? One of the things that made me uneasy with the Prime Minister's address was overtime was an abuse at BPL. I don't think overtime was abuse at BPL at all. I think there is collusion. And the idea that our Prime Minister cannot see that, it's problematic for me. The Prime Minister didn't say that it's going to be some type of forensic auditing exercise to correct the problem. So that means the problem will continue because collusion existed. I maintain only managers can approve overtime. The Prime Minister suggested that this abuse happened last year. I would put it to you, that this abuse happened for the whole duration of term of the last administration, the duration of the administration before it, and now this first several months going on to a year. I think that the collusion of overtime is continuing. I think it will continue despite the Prime Minister's speech, right? And until someone addresses the issue, find out how far it stems, find out who all are involved in this collusion, this derelict of duties, I think the Prime Minister wrote them a blank check to continue. I have no confidence of them correcting it. And the overtime is not just in BPL. On all government administrations, Ministry of Works, Patelco, all of them, I think there is collusion straight throughout. And I think the Minister acknowledged that that's what's happening. It will continue to manifest itself. And that's my opinion on the Prime Minister overtime, right? Like I said, it's an open line Tuesday. So I have one or two things that I wish to talk about or bring to the fore that I want you, the listening audience, to consider. what I try to bring up every so often, because the community tend to be left in the back burner, and we tend to forget about them, right? And because I have relatives and friends and people who I work with who have to deal with this, live with this, I tend to bring it up because there needs to be someone who is vocal to remind the general public that they exist and that we owe them a duty of care. Recently, parents who have autistic children demand that more resources, better inclusivity for special needs children. They were lobbying. I have about 6 women that I work with intimately. That means they're in my space, who have special needs children. I found that fantastic in terms of how can so many be in one space working along with me, and say that can't be normal. But I acknowledge that special needs children who deal with on the spectrum autism is very prevalent in the Bahamas, but we don't have that continued conversation of including them in the general sphere of things, particularly in school. 1, 2, 3. Out of the 6 ladies who I work with, 3 of them are trying to get their children into the government school system for the first time. They've been trying to apply, going on months now, going back and forth with the government, back and forth, bring this, bring that, medical slips and carrying them to psychologists, whatever it is, in order to get access to the public education school system. It's now August 18th. They haven't heard back from the government yet. School's soon open. School's soon open, by the way. No response from the government other than bring in the initial stuff and wait till our call, the way you could bring in the rest of stuff. They're waiting on a call, right? And I became frustrated listening to their stories, and they don't know what to do. So, of course, eventually they went to the private school system. One child is $900 per month. I'm not saying per term, no, because I can understand $1,000 per term. These are children under 5, trying to find preschools, trying to find primary schools that will accept special need children. And mind you, we have schools like that here. We have public schools, and the government is mandated to make sure we have public schools that would cater to special need children. But I'm imagining that if I have 3 out of the 6 in my environment, that means there are scores of Bahamian mothers out there who cannot get their child into a public school today because their child has special needs, and the government is either overwhelmed or cannot accommodate or behind in their time in terms of responding to have these children to get access. You know, it's mandatory that all children receive an education in the Bahamas. All, straight across. That's a government law. You can't keep your children home. Just why the government created about 4 schools that would normally accept special needs children. But the government is not responding to the demand. It can't be days before school open up and the parents have no clue if the child's going to be accepted, one, and where they plan to send the child, right? It shouldn't be this long delay. It should be, I have a special needs child, and they say, bring your stuff in. We can send you between these schools right here. We guarantee you a spot. We just have to go through our evaluation. But no, that is not happening. And I think this delay is an injustice, and I say I shall speak about it. Let's go to the phone calls right now. I said, someone got to talk about these things, right? Let's go to the first caller there, Kermit. Go ahead, caller. Guardian Radio AM. You live? Go ahead.
Let me cut my radio off.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so this is sad. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How you doing?
This is sad. But I'm so impressed with those parents who are acknowledging that their child needs that kind of help, because there are so many parents who have denied it because they don't want their children labeled.
Yes.
My suggestion, although it was not asked for, would be to go directly to the director and hear what she has to say, because no school should be doing that. And then if she denies that child the opportunity, then write a letter so it'll be documented that this is what I did, and then call them out.
I think all three of them had to go to the ministry itself. I don't, because it's special needs, you don't go directly to the
sit
school.
in the director's office. My child needs to get in school. You
Any
cannot
school.
deny my child. Yeah. I would say one thing about a gentleman that you should know very well, Mr. Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
You speak to him about children. He loves children. He loves his school in that district.
Yes.
I am also certain that he would assist you in any capacity with a child. I mean, it might not be from his constituency, but he is like that when it comes to children. And so I would say take those routes, because nobody could really deny you. And then the thing about it is, the Minister of Education has been on TV several times, and the director has been visibly next to him, which means whichever voice he's speaking with, she's listening, she's hearing, she knows. And he has had a situation, he has had meeting with special needs parents, and so this must be a passion of his.
Yeah.
So I don't get it. I don't get which, she needs to write a letter and indicate which administrators are saying, I can't take your child.
Yeah. And
if the case is the school has reached its capacity, because, they need to be in a small class setting because, they need that kind of individualized attention and that type of thing. I can see that, but say that to the parent and direct the parent in the right direction as to where they can go and get assistance. But don't just tell a parent no.
Yes.
That's absolutely disgusting.
And let me remind you that where I work, there are 6 of them, 6 individual women in a small space.
Listen, teachers would love parents like them, love them, because you identify that your child has a need and you care. And some of those children only need to be in a special ed setting for a short period of time and then go into a regular class setting based on what the needs are. Come on, there are schools upon schools upon schools that have special. And then not only that, if the minister knows, if the prime minister knows that this is a need, and he's been saying it, they're trying to get it in the family islands. He's been saying, we're trying to set up these kind of programs, so it has to be a passion of his. So this is not something that I think, we always get political on this, but I try to listen to what people are saying, whether it's PLTF and MOCOI, and see where their heart is and see where their passion is. And he has seemingly, I wish he would take interest in some other things as well, but I love the fact that he's taking interest in our special needs children. So go sit in his office too. Listen, this is what I need.
I will go and encourage them when I see them.
Yeah, man. Listen, he's the deputy prime minister. This is what I need. You moving in the right direction. This is my child's name. Drop the letter off. You don't hear from him, I will sit in your office until you get my child sorted out. I mean, and some people don't like to take that route, but listen, you got to do what you got to do and make sure that your situation is being heard, your concerns are being heard, because sometimes they just don't know that these things are happening. Yeah, sorry.
No, man, I appreciate your passion.
I just hate hearing it happening, and I know that teachers love when things like this happen, when you are really identifying with the needs of your child, you're a concerned parent. It's amazing. It's amazing. So hats off to them.
Yes, and thank you very much for calling. I appreciate you. I wonder what happens if they tell the parent, the ladies, oh, by the way, all of the schools are filled. That means the children got to stay home? Is that what they're saying? And these ladies, if they make $300 a week, and actually these are working class women, right? And they have an expense, right? Single mothers, right? So the idea of them going to a private school where they have to pay $1,000 a month, it's almost impossible for them to do that. So we are crippling these children from developing. Because right? I mean, one has a child who, like I said, I just met this particular one, maybe 6 months, 7 months now, right? And her child was nonverbal. And she's being overwhelmed and dealing with, and she's with her significant other distant, because, he started blaming himself and whatever it is, and not acknowledging that the child needs extra care and help or whatever it is. But they're both working class individuals, And she is the primary focus of trying to make sure the child get into the school. Of course, her significant other is helping, as men do in the limited way, right? And to know that she's still waiting on the government to respond to say, well, we have a school for them. But I remember where I brought up the story. When I first met her, the child was nonverbal, not talking at all. She's a little bit overwhelmed. And I remember saying, man, there's all kind of resources on the internet that you can use for free, right? And she said, but my child is now 5, 6 years old and have never said any word. Just yesterday, she come excited, Newry, guess what? My child spoke. Just me when he spoke. What did he say? He said, Mommy, he said, no, Mommy, I want this. I need to drink. Going from no words to entire sentence. Now every day he asking, Mommy, I want drink. From no words to Mommy, I want drink to no, don't touch me. Yes, I want this, right? And I'm excited for her being a parent who is really emotional that she has a child who's not communicating, right? To now a child who out of the blue have a mouth full of words, a bag of mouth, just talking. So she paid some money for an evaluation. And we realized that this quiet child of 7 could count 1, 2, 3, 4, all from watching TV, and whatever it is. But he was quiet, but his brain apparently was working, because now that he's communicating, they realize how much he knows. And I said, surely there should be a school for him to get into that he get exposed. Because I could see him being functional by 12, 15, right? Let's go to the phone lines. Go ahead, caller. Guardian Radio AM. You live?
Thank you, Mr. Newry.
Hi, how you doing?
Great, man, great. I want to talk about that word collusion you mentioned at the beginning of your show, but I've met some persons in my short lifetime who were born retired, and they really didn't have to do the formal school. In fact, their parents taught them themselves how to maneuver in life, and to the point where a gentleman is so kind enough to tell me that he has to figure out every month what he's going to do with $30 million coming in from businesses. That's the biggest challenge he has in his life, to find what he's going to do with that money. But you talk about collusion. Are you suggesting that there are people working behind the scenes to manipulate and misuse or gain an unfair advantage at BPL?
I'm saying that all government agencies where they have people working by the hour has abuse regarding payroll, straight across the board. And now I'm going to say, yes, BPL.
And you're saying that the PM is aware of it and he should more fully address it because he has been a part of the system closer to it than I am.
The PM said the buck starts with him or stops with him. And if he said the buck stops with him, yes, the PM is aware of what is happening at these institutions.
So he'd be aware of secret agreements for deceitful purposes, fraudulent and illegal purposes, whatever. He would be aware of it and also be a part of it.
I would not say that because our Prime Minister is an honest and decent man. And what you're suggesting that it goes contrary to his character, what I know. But I'm saying that he would be aware if there's abuses and he should be duty bound to address any abuse.
And if he hasn't addressed it to the point where we've seen persons actually being removed, then it's probably him being a part of it.
No, I would say that there is collusion with the Bahamian public by not demanding that there should be an audit, a forensic audit, to point out where the abuse is.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking the questions. I appreciate you. Let's go on to the next caller there. Go ahead, caller. Guardian Radio AM, you live.
Most of the time, right, our leaders have no idea what their underlings are up to,
Really?
Well, they have. I mean, I recall being inside BPO, BEC was like more than like 50 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
And the same stuff is going on.
Now let me investigate what you said. You worked at BPL at a particular point in time. One or two
Yes.
people were abusing the system by getting some overtime, right? And you saying that their supervisors approved the abuse of time, their manager approved the abuse of time, the accounts officer approved the abuse of time, the director approved the abuse of time, the CFO noticed all of this and approved the abuse of time. You said that, and even though they see it and know it, you said none of them knew what was happening?
Well, okay, it goes on, right? And then someone is dealt with if it gets out of hand and it comes to the public's attention. Okay, now it usually ends up with a supervisor being dealt with. But ground staff, no. Okay.
I would even be content if the Prime Minister said there's an investigation going on and we plan to deal with a supervisor, but that is not the case.
Mr. Davis has so many things to do.
He's busy.
Mm-hmm. And the person sees like, okay, one thing about politics, right? It allows the person who is not qualified to ascend to a position that is beyond his competence. Okay, now that's one of the nasty things, like, a person who don't know nothing could be a boss, and just because he is a member of a party, it's the only reason why he in there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, ideally, he if he finds himself in that spot, he should, like try to upgrade his skills and stuff, But most of them don't change nothing, and they tend to have like a 5-year lifespan. Anyway, I really called to talk about autism. But
go ahead.
Okay. More than a decade ago, one of our prime ministers had a son who was autistic.
Yes.
And I think that is when a lot of headway was made in the area of autism. I think the programs they have now, that is when they were established. Okay? Because, it was a personal issue.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I've seen in my reading is they have something that's called an autistic spectrum.
Yes.
Okay? Now, here is the alarming part. Most of the world's geniuses didn't start to read or didn't start to talk until they were like 5 or 7. So, plenty of these children will be misdiagnosed. Okay, it's just that folks can't reach them at the level that they are at. So for their own safety, they just close down and they go about their business.
Mm-hmm.
Now they bloom later in life. But we need a schedule as far as this thing is concerned. Now, I know there's a group here that, is doing so, I think, reach, and they're working. But I think our government needs to take a page out of their progressive mandate and become progressive in this regard, dealing with these kids.
Yeah.
Our folks who our folks so territorial. We hide our kids off in a room, primarily because they ain't fitting the profile, or they're making us look bad.
I understand.
And we lack compassion for our own children. Anyway, boys,
I appreciate you. Thank you.
I love this subject.
I appreciate you.
Okay, buddy.
One of the scariest things for a parent who has special needs children is preparing them for the real world. Right? What happens when I, as a parent, become old and my child have to live on after me? And this is where I think our government needs to have access. And social services just did a big program, at least the Urban Renewal just did a big program where they had a number of special needs adults who were being interviewed and their skill set being analyzed to see where they can fit in the program. And I'm hopeful that our government include them in our economy and give them opportunity. But our government just need to do more. They should be duty bound to assist. And this is what the conversation is about, because there are a number of parents who have autistic children who know that the resources exist, but they're not getting access to the resources. It's taking too long to get access to the resources, and we need to put fire on our government and the ministries and the people that have the monies to assist more. We have mega millionaires here in the Bahamas, Bahamian and foreign, who should be donating money to help, to assist, right? There should be buses. There should be parking and ramps all over the Bahamas. And if our government find themselves challenged and cannot assist, then the private citizens need to assist to make sure that everybody, all Bahamians, are included in our economy. Let's go to the caller and I start reading some text. Go ahead, caller. Guardian Radio AM, you're live. It's an open line today, so you can talk about anything you want to talk about. I'm just mentioning that this is important, and I want people to acknowledge that this is important and help. Go ahead, caller. You live.
Hey, what's up, Mr.
Raise your man. What you say?
Hey, I think your last caller made a statement that was so profound. I think that ought to be framed, coined, and on the doorstep of every government institution. Mm-hmm. And he said that your political affiliation will ascend you to positions way beyond your ability or your qualifications, something along those lines.
Yeah.
And that's a telling fact as to what's happening now at BPL. And based on the Prime Minister address last night, that confirmed that management has absolutely no clue as to what's happening at BPL. And why I say that is, right, you had 3 employees working for a whole year, and you just now discovering that these people are being making these crazy overtime.
I willing to challenge that and say for the past 10 years.
I would go beyond that. From Leslie Miller was chairman, we started having this issue with overtime.
See, that's why I heard the statement about a year and said, man, they have me for going, man. No. This is always going on because the issue here is collusion.
And I come from an industrial background, some 25 years plus in the industrial sector. And an industrial plant is a very organized, structured, it's what they call organized chaos. It may seem like everybody's running around tipsy-turvy, but it's very organized and it's very structured. You see what I'm saying? Most industrial sector, they work on 12-hour shifts. And it's you have some people who work overtime. You have some people who work more overtime than other people. It's done not because of collusion. It's done because that particular individual have more free time than other persons. They might not have family to go home to, kids, these extra activities that they are involved with. So they have more free time. But it's impossible in an industrial sector for someone to work more than 18 hours on one shift. That's impossible. That's a health hazard. That's a safety hazard. That's so many things could go wrong. You see what I'm saying? It's just not safe for an employee to work more than 24 hours and more than 18 hours on one shift.
Mm-hmm. I hear you.
So it tells me that the management at BPL, they have no clue as to the daily operations, what's going on in that plant, and the Prime Minister's own admission. I believe all of them need to be removed.
Thank you very much. We have some more callers on the line. We're going to address them when we come right back. I'm going to read this text. Before I go, it says, Mr. Newry, the overtime is garbage. You mean to tell me that only 3 people doing that kind of work to get that kind of overtime? Utter foolishness. It's my belief that those particular persons have been compromised and have sold out for the lucre, and the overtime narrative was given because them fellas wasn't able to take that kind of monies to the bank because of banking compliance. If it's coming from BPL straight to their bank account, the bank will accept it. But more than 3 people got the overtime, you know. They just highlighted the 3 highest. But not the whole department had overtime. But let's go take our break now. Sorry about that, Kermit. We're going to take this break now. We're going to come back to the callers who are on the line and continue to have our open line Tuesday. We'll be right back.
Can you believe this? We are now the patrol queens of the neighborhood.
We now large and in charge. So we need to check out what's going on in everybody's yard. What about that gun that we know that Junior and his homeboys just ran out? Can we report that too?
Of course we can.
But we could be in deep trouble if they find out.
We need to report what we see, Beulah. When you call Crime Stoppers, they just answer your call in Miami.
So then we can report everything? Guns, where they hiding the drugs, who shoot who part of which gang, or who disturbing the peace with the loud music and the motorcycles.
Then our neighborhood will be the best in the Bahamas, and everybody gonna want to come live here. And then our house price will go up, gal.
So what we waiting on? What's the number?
If you see something, say something. Let us all pitch in and stop the crime before it's your time. Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands. Or text us through the Crack Crime Bahamas app. Stop the crime before it's your time.
We're gonna give you a check every week for a year. Percy's Pension Plan, Island Game, keep you winning. Percy's Pension Plan, dream big, we will help you live it. Percy's Pension Plan, Island Game, we got you. Percy's Pension Plan, from the friends you can trust. If winning is a must, go play the game you know, cause your best chance is with us. The most trustworthy name is Percy's Island Game. So put 20 on your account and ride this easy train at Percy's Island Game.
Attention Island Game players. Percy's Pension Plan is now accepting applications. Deposit $25 and you are officially in the running for a weekly salary of up to $1,000 a week for a full year. Applications close September 8th. Apply now at theislandgame.com.
Back to school is almost here. Guardian Media Group is helping you get ready with the Back to School Jamboree. Friday, August 21st from 11 to 3 at the Guardian Media Grounds on Carter Street, Oaks Field. Bring the family for an afternoon of fun, surprises, and all the school supplies your kids need for back to school, like books, pencils, school bags, and everything needed to start the school year off right. It's the Back to School Jamboree. Friday, August 21st from 11 to 3 at the Guardian Media Grounds. Guardian Media Group, informing, entertaining, and giving back to the people of the Bahamas.
Headed to South Florida soon? Holiday Inn Express in Plantation welcomes you to the heartbeat of Florida fun. Whether it's business or pleasure, the Holiday Inn Express is close to sensational shopping, captivating dining, and nightlife. Elevate your Florida experience. Sleep well and rest easy at Holiday Inn Express. Complimentary breakfast buffet featuring seasonal favorites. Keep up your fitness routine in our 24-hour on-site fitness center with cardio equipment and free weights, or take a refreshing swim in our outdoor pool. Your special Bahamas tourist rate awaits. Holiday Inn Express, 1701 North University Drive, in Plantation. Book your getaway now. Call directly at 954-472-5600 or the sales department for reservations and additional information. This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Guardian Radio AM. Let's go straight to the phone lines of people who want Guardian Radio AM. You live? Let's just move on and clear the lines. Guardian Radio AM. You live? Continue. Let's go and clear the lines. Guardian Radio AM. You live? So all the lines are cleared. So you can call the number at 323-62 325-4316, 325-4259. And let's continue with the text. Say, CA, I thought the Prime Minister was a honest and decent man. What his time in power has shown me is that he and Minnis fighting for the worst Prime Minister ever. He don't know what's going on in his cabinet. For what you tell me, as what you are telling me, all the industries have been disastrous. All I want to know is where the almost $1 billion gone. How PM David's busy and he don't have a ministry. Busy traveling? That's what our texter says. Let's see any more text there. I responded to that already. This text says, my child with special needs, I faced that dilemma more than 15 years ago. School admittance, very good program in public schools. Gaventines and Gerald Cash were top then. The Bahamas government is signatories to many UN resolutions on special need children. Class small, demand is high. My child was nonverbal. Ministry of Education had an excellent speech therapist, Miss Ferguson. She was wonderful, but it was so much in demand. He was only allotted 1 hour a week at the ministry. Then he would visit the primary school to work with them. Thank you very much, texter. This text says, the PM spoke of reviewing solar policy. Empty words. The PM knows that if he said everybody, no more restrictions, go get your solar panels, about 10 people would move because it costs prohibitive. What the PM needs to do is bring the lazy 33 back from vacation and start looking at options. To get solar installation down to the cost of a Japanese car. And for God's sake, don't subsidize any fly-by-night pirates ill-suited for the program, but looking to profit. Okay, that's what text. So sorry about that, caller. You can call back right now. Let's read this one. Said, this administration is in over its head. They are barely even treading water. They have zero solutions to offer. Therefore, they all need to apologize to the Bahamians and tender their collective resignations. Okay, I see that super. That person wants everyone to resign. As we continue our open line day. Go, Kermit, patch right through as I go through this text right here. Go ahead, call it. You're live.
Good day, sir.
Good day.
You know what freaked me out over all of what the Prime Minister said?
Go ahead.
The man ain't say that he can fire these people with all this millions of dollars missing. Nobody getting fired. Why in the world he don't let people spend this money the way they spending the country money?
But let's pause right there and I want to ask you, what money missing?
The $200 million what they saying been just gone and they don't want giving us all for it. The next thing is all this overtime, this bunch of overtime. Why won't they spend their own money like how they spending the country money like this? That's wrong what they be doing in this country, man. How in the world you can spend this type of money and nobody getting fired? No supervisor gets suspended or fired. The country's been run wrongly. Let it be a private entity and you'll see how fast people be losing their job. It's too slack in the great Bahama land. It's slack. All you got to do is be a part of the government and everything is just get pushed underneath the rug. It's bad in this country, man. They need to stop this. Thank you.
I appreciate it. This text says, okay, you have autistic children. Yes, I agree with that. But what then do you have with the physical? I have to go to 2 schools here and still wasn't. So this text is saying that she had physical impairment and there were no system to allow them to access a proper education here. And that's something we may need to address. Suppose your child is in a wheelchair, right? How do you, especially in schools where they have upstairs, downstairs, that nobody thought about putting elevators to have these children access to classrooms, right? And all these classrooms are now building up and down now. Like they're not being cognizant that there are children in the Bahamas who have challenges and we're supposed to accommodate them. Let's go to the caller. Guiding Radio AM, you live.
Dr. Newry.
How you doing, man?
Boy, you're doing good this morning.
I'm doing my best. Doing my best.
I need to get something off my chest.
Go ahead, man.
You know, over the years, you know, folks have been accusing me of being PLP or F&M, right? And, you know, as far as I see it, philosophically, every Bahamian is a PLP. Okay? You know, but this attitude we need to have when we need to get things done. This is more of a recent F&M kind of thing, right? There is nothing wrong with being a PLP. But to get things done in this country, you need to have a Hubert Ingram kind of mindset. Now, you know, his mindset was on full display, you know. He lost an election primarily because he had to get something done. Okay? Now, we need to get our acts together because we can't be waiting until stuff hit the fan. You know, in the summer, you know, and it's PPL, or in August, it's the ministry of education, you know, playing fool again. We need to get our mindset straightened up in terms of Bahamians, you know. It can't be PLP or F&M when it comes to getting things done in this country. We need to see ourselves as being a collective. Now, as long as we allow politics to do its thing, we're going to be separated as a people.
Okay.
Anyway, you know.
I appreciate it. I get news now that the Treasury on East Street across the road from the police barracks, where all of the fire... Go ahead. Where all of the fire trucks are, burned down to the ground. I find it odd that the Treasury is right in front of the fire depot. You in the Treasury? What building was it?
I can't remember that.
Yeah? Oh, okay. The Kermit says not the Treasury. It's a building, but a building next to the Treasury then? And it got burned down completely? You know,
on Bay Street?
No, the Treasury is on East Street Hill. Picture the old post office. Picture the police barracks. Then cross the road from it. The Treasury is there, and they say a building right next there. Said burned down. Right. My point is, that's where the fire trucks are.
Oh, it's a yellow building.
Yeah.
It's it's owned by it's owned by Scott. You know, the guy who owned the National Census.
Yeah, we'll find out soon enough. We can see which news agency will break the story, but we'll see how it goes. I just got a text and said that's
wow.
So I'll listen and find out what's it.
Hey, all I think about now is records.
Yeah, man. That's what I'm thinking about the records. Thanks very much, caller. Let's go to this last call there. Kermit, patch the next caller for me. Guiding Radio AM, you live? Are you there, caller? Caller going once. Caller going twice. Okay, clear the line there, Kermit. I'm just saying that we must continue to remember to include all Bahamians, and that our government has a duty of care to remember that we do have special needs people, children. We do have a number of single mothers who are working above and beyond what they can do, and they need assistance. And there are times when the ministry is taking too long to these mothers, these parents regarding their children, and their children need access. to education and forcing them to go to these expensive schools, knowing that these women can't afford it. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't happen. Let's go see if we get this call. Go ahead, caller. You live?
Hello, Mr. Newry. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Go ahead.
Well, Mr. Newry, if that's true what you say, if it's a treasury building, we just ain't gonna know nothing now. But what I'm saying, Mr. Newry, this is what I'm trying to find out. Nobody seems to answer this for me. One time ago, we was told about the Bay Street boys running everything from Bay Street, go to east, up to Yamaka on the north side. Now we got rid of the Bay Street boys, but they ain't going nowhere. Now the over the hill boys, they moved down between Bay Street to the West Bay Street side. If you go down past the caves, I don't know where the money coming from, but boy, the beautiful homes tonight is going up. Some behemoths around here, they doing more than overtime. They doing triple overtime, because if you see the homes what's going up down Bay, where the money is we looking for, a lot of the doggone over the hills, other West Bay Street boys, that's what we got to watch out for now.
Sparky, where I work, Sparky,
hotels I see, they homes, they hotels, they building down there. Have a good day.
Yes, Sparky, where I work, they have men and women who are 30 years old making six figures, 100,000, 120,000. These are educated Bahamians who have returned home, who are making some real money, right? I've come across a person, a colleague of mine who is barely 27 and making $100,000 a year. So there are Bahamians here who are making good money. And if they're making good money, they deserve housing. And their housing would be more likely in the Western area. So I know that there are a number of Bahamians who have nice homes out west, nice apartments, condominiums out west. And I'm not mad at that. I'm just saying that's what it is. This text said, was in the Treasury building. Thank you very much, texter. I appreciate that. This text says, the PM's speech last night was about hidden excuses and apologies. He didn't answer essential questions and gave deadlines to our energy crisis. There was no deadlines, actually. The PM came to speak last night to let us know he is back in town from vacation and he's doing good because his power was on even in Cat Island. Dr. Mills is still a better man than Davis. Baby saving us plenty money in 4 years and keeping all of us home so we don't get loose like a goose or get lost or go too far overseas, Doctor. Thanks, Dr. Minnis. You is a good man who stood on principles. This text says, Mr. Newry, those overtime hours are not direct time. The time is double on weekends and holidays. And the Prime Minister mentioned that the person worked on Christmas. So that must be a triple time right there. And if they're making $50 per hour, how much $50 per hour? That's $150 per hour times 8. Oh, come on. Hold on. 150 times 8 hours. That's $1,200 a day, right? I don't let it. They had a long weekend and they get paid every month. They could get a good salary off about at the end of the month a $20,000 worth of salary at the end of the month. Don't let the light go off on the holiday. Mr. Newry, those overtime hours are not direct time. The time is double on weekends and holidays. Management is to blame the junior staff when this is a normal occurrence. And apparently it's a normal occurrence at BPL. And this is how they pay their staff. And there's not just time and a half, not just double time. They have time and a half plus and double time plus at BPL, where people can make a killing there if they work on a particular day, on a particular time. And don't let you have to work past 5 o'clock from home when someone knocked down a pole at night or it's a power blackout at 11 p.m. That's all kind of different and separate pay, especially when you have a specialty skill, right? Time go up. It is what it is. Tomorrow I might have another open line and we talk about things that they want to talk, like you want to talk about, things that tend to get lost in the back burner and say, hey, I want the listening audience to hear this, the Bahamian people to hear that. So I might have an open line. again tomorrow, just so we can get some things that dust off some things that's not usually spoken on, and have that to the fore. So the politicians who listen, because apparently it's so popular for some reason, that the politicians tend to listen, and they tend to respond to the listening callers. And so we need you to call, say what's on your mind, so we can get in the air of the Prime Minister, get in the air of the Director of Communication and the ministers, and say, man, these people need these issues addressed. This has been Guardian Radio AM with C.A. Newry. You have a wonderful day.
Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.